Hey everyone, CCZ Genesis here, and it's been a while since I made a deck profile. People were requesting the Book of Light deck profile. I said I would make it on Monday. Sadly, I didn't have the time to make it on Monday, so I'm making it today. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Please leave a like and a comment down below. It really helps the channel grow. And I do now have a Discord channel. I will post a description. I will post a link down in the description below. Please consider joining it. We have the entire 10 squads there. We do a lot of deck build. We have a lot of deck building in there. And it's a very fun, interactive community to hang out with. So go ahead and join us. So Book of Light converts Indian mana for Will of Hopes. Will of Hope is basically the tribal theme of the deck. And you can produce one is energized as one light. Doesn't matter. Our entire stone list is basic mono white because we do play soul. So when you J activate or judgment, you bring out a Will of Hope from your side deck depending on the X cost that you paid. The X cost is depending on how much mana you paid. So if you paid 5 mana, you bring out Prisia. I'll go over the side deck a little bit later, but we'll go towards the main deck as of now. So in the main deck, I play 3 Lumia, Praying for the Future. She's basically there to recycle the key components of the deck, like Real's Volition, Manifestation of Power, Millium. You just want to, and then you can also abuse her with Soul. So if you put Soul to the top of your deck, able to redraw into Soul, play Soul, do it again. It's really nice to be able to have a sort of fixing mechanism, so you're able to constantly replenish your supplies. And then we go for 3 Little Red. So she has Seal 3, Swiftness, and Flying. She's a 1-mana 4/4 red body, which is extremely strong. And then she's just there to be able to do a little bit of chip damage. She's also able to kill your opponent under Real's Volition and Manifestation of Power. So keep that in mind. Next we play 4 Soul. Soul is legitimately the card in the deck besides Millium. Soul allows you to ramp up extremely ahead of your opponent. As long as you open up Soul, you're always going to be able to outpace your opponent, and then it allows you to ramp into G2 tank a lot faster, so you're able to constantly get 2 draws per turn at the very minimum. Sometimes even 3 draws a turn if you really need a 3rd draw during your turn, or if you have 2 G tanks. Three Pandora. Early game play to release Light Seals from Millium, so now if you have her in Millium, your board can no longer be touched by removal, as long as it's not AoE removal. Also the fact that no one really wants to attack into you when you have a Pandora, because you just get nice +1/+1 counters for every time you block. So if they try to attack, you block, you get a nice +1/+1 counter, they don't kill it, you keep the +1/+1 counter. It's a very strong card. I really like her utility towards the deck. 1 Grim. Grim is just there to destroy additions. We do play 5 Fairy Tail targets. 3 of them are Little Red. It's nice to have. Very situational, but very nice to have in general. 3 Zero. Zero is a very strong resonator, able to have the utility of being casted during your opponent's end turn, so you don't have to you play around Seven Winds a little bit more with that. Also the fact that your opponent can only draw once per turn, and that your board can no longer rebound. So if you're playing against like Soul Hook combo, Soul Hook combo, you don't have to worry about getting Rising Depths and then getting hooked. They can still hook your summons, but at least you still have the board already. And it plays around cards like Soul Dead and all that as well. I really like the utility that Zero brings into the deck. Being able to play around cards like, being able to force your opponent not being able to draw extra cards off space-time anomaly, so they use extra resources like that. and as well as it sort of hurts flute, so they can't really like draw twice on their turn or multiple times on their turn. But they're still able to at least like tap the ability to tap on your keep the ability to tap on your turn. So that's always something to keep in consideration. Next is 3 million. This is the Lord effect in the deck. Million has the ability to give all Will of Hosts +2/+2 and barrier. Well, other, sorry. And then when you're at Seal 5, he has barrier himself. So he creates a Lord, so he has a Lord effect, so he makes basically a castle around him. So you had to, once you get to Seal 5, Million is basically protected. You have a stable wall, but your opponent has to have AoE in order to kill your board. So cards like Final Battle and Eternal Recurrence. Final Battle has been seeing a lot of play, at least against me it has, because everyone hates me. But then you get stabilized with your side deck, you'll be able to J-activate into your side deck and all that to reoccur some more plays. One Faria, she's just a wall, being able to take no damage from your first hit, so she's just a wall that protects you as well, which I really like the utility for it. 2 Snow White. Snow White's really strong in the deck. You're able to ramp up to your Lightstone sources extremely fast, so she gets +2/+2 for, well, +1/+1 for every Lightstone, so you get 2 +1/+1 counters for every Lightstone that you have. So let's say you have 15, she's at 30, so she's really beefy. As well as that, you're able to pay a light to give a light J/Resonator you control. I'm sorry, a light Resonator you control a +1/+1 counter, so you can put it on Millium, Pandora, Lumia, Soul, Zero, herself technically. So she has a huge amount of utility, plus she's a big beater, a very nice endgame beater at that. And then 1 Kaon Prisia. Doesn't have to be Kaon, so Prisia, when she enters the field, she destroys target Resonator equal to or less than her attack. And then when she attacks, she does the same effect. So you could honestly destroy 2 creatures at most, or more, as long as we don't remove her. We do play multiples of her in the side deck, so that's all for Resonator. So let's move on to spells. So the first spell we have is 3 Dream of Flight. Dream of Flight is very nice to have for an ability just to have a nice, cheap, quick cast that's from an ability to be able to potentially protect our Resonators or to kill our opponent very easily. So it's a force mechanic, so you roll the dice. It's basically gambling, but sometimes you only really need a 1 damage in order to +1/+1 in order to survive a final battle sometimes, which is relatively nice. Next, 2 G-Tanks. G-Tank is very strong. It has 4 effects, so it has 4 modes. You basically really find yourself really wanting to use the second and third mode the most. The second mode is to give something barrier, and the third mode is to draw an extra card. The first mode is to gain 200 life, so if you have a little bit of mana left over during your turn, you can't use it to draw or to give hexproof or something, just draw a card, I guess. You can use the 4th mode. I haven't really gotten a chance to use the 4th mode a lot recently to rest a J/Resonator. But other than that, it's still very useful to have. 3 Amaterasu Foresights. Amaterasu's Foresight is a very strong card in my opinion, especially in this type of deck. So you don't want to basically get killed, you just want to be able to kill your opponent. So this stalls out to the turns where you can kill your opponent, as well as being able to be recycled by Lumia. So you're able to recycle it with Lumia on the top of your deck, draw into his Jujutsu tank, play on your opponent's turn. If they can't cancel it, they can't deal damage, and you try to kill them next turn, and then you keep doing that over and over again. So you constantly keep recycling Amaterasu Foresight until you kill your opponent, or you keep recycling cards like Manifestation of Power or Real's Volition to kill your opponent with. So you can do that as 2 Manifestation of Power. So you can do Real's Volition, swing, put it on top of the deck with that for stone, swing, Manifestation of Power, draw into Riola's Volition again, play it again, swing again. Or you could destroy a target addition. So we have technically 3 additional removals effects in this deck. Not counting our side deck, obviously, we would have more. But it's still very strong. You really just want to really use it to restand a Resonator and draw a card mainly, because it gives you a recycle effect, as well as being able to help deal more damage to your opponent. Or maybe even give you a second blocker. For Riola's Volition, this card is insane. If you target Well of Hope Resonator, it costs 1 Void, as well as giving you +8/+8 and Barrier and Flying until end of turn. This is effect that can be applied to J rulers as well. So you can use this in a multitude of decks. This card is just really insane, and I love it. Rest in peace, Riola. And then 2 Sever Winds. Everyone should know what Sever Winds does. You basically use this to play around your opponent's key turns, and it just becomes a horrible top deck after a while. Your opponent can actually, if your opponent is playing Resonator, they can force you to tap for stone and put this to the top of your deck, because Luminous Effect is mandatory. So after a while, it does become a worthless card. But it's still, don't get me wrong, it's an extremely powerful card, a meta-defining card in that sense. Being able to have the utility to have any deck to be able to play Severing Winds is extremely strong. But I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have already talked about that. So now we're going to go on to the side deck. So, 1 little red, 2 Christie's. Christie is there to remove Darkness Resonators like Blazer. Sadly, the only one you really do want to hit is Odal, and Odal doesn't let you hit it, but hitting a Blazer is really nice. You can't really touch the Stealth unit because they usually kill you by the end of turn. I didn't know what I really wanted. Christie has been doing some work for me at least. It does help, like, it could get rid of Galapases and all that for me as well. It has been putting in work, don't get me wrong. It has been putting in a lot of work for me. 2 Grim, just for more additional removal. We also have 2 more targets, and we have 5 targets in the main deck to search off of it, as well as technically another Little Red if Little Red was to be shuffled into our deck. 1 Pandora, it's a utility bringer out from our side deck in case we never draw in turn and we need that for Melium. 1 Charlotte to potentially make our Riola's Volition cost for free, as well as reducing the other amounts of chance, like Manifestation of Power, and as well as Amaterasu Foresight. 1 Kaguya. Kaguya is there to help us have a recover mechanic in the late game, or maybe in the mid game, because you can ramp up to 10 stones very easily in a game in this deck. Be careful about her though, because if you have no more graveyard, you can no longer draw, and that could be a very dangerous situation. And remember that cards now go into the exile. One Dark Alice, just for a mass graveyard nuke effect, plus the fact that if only she was light, if she was light, you could put Snow White counters on her, you get a bunch of tokens. But you know, just having the tokens are nice as well. 1 Blue Planet Alice. The ability to be able to deactivate into a Prohibition is pretty good. Just call a card that you don't want to see your opponent be playing. Like, I usually have to call Final Battle because I don't want my board to get entirely wiped. 1 more Melium, 1 more Lord, basically just in case I don't draw into a Melium. I would be able to at least be able to deactivate into a Melium, so I can have my board be able to be protected. 1 more Fire, again to protect me and to protect herself. She's a very strong body that can protect herself and me as well. Redundancy at its finest, guys. And then 3 Pressia. Pressia is very strong. I really find myself deactivating into Pressia more than anything else in this deck. because she's just a really strong body, and the fact that she instantly kills something. So always able to be able to deactivate into a kill spell is very strong, in my opinion. And please do remember, if you do deactivate and you get Domini to the earth, you cry because you can no longer flip your book back over. Well, that's all for the deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to leave a comment down below. And tell me what you guys think of it. And I hope you guys have a great day.